What's up, everybody? Listen, put out a video the other day. I've been thinking about it nonstop. That was probably one of the most boring videos I've ever put together as far as material. And most all of those notes are already gone. So, with that being said, I did cut this because I was curious, but I did not open it. So, there it is, sealed. This is going to be way cooler than what I showed you 2 days ago. Like, I can't quit thinking about how terrible to watch and painful that video probably is. So we cut it, get this unwrapped. This is actually one of the neatest things I've probably ever bought in my career, as far as like fresh off the street, never gonna get an opportunity to buy anything like this ever again, in that kind of terms. So what this is an entire submission of small size. Oh, the puppy dog's fine.
She was sleeping.
She's fine. Small size national banknote, kind of like just a mini hoard or a mini collection of them. So we'll go through them, and I'll kind of talk to you guys a little bit about them as we go. Mobile, Alabama, VF30. A lot of these are just nice, honest originals. Like, they don't have any distractions. Down here, you can see the start of the next note. This is not miscut. This is not an error. These notes were cut by hand, so this is completely normal to see some of that. Fort Smith, Arkansas, VF25. This would be a Type 2. Like I said, a lot of these were just super original Siloam Springs. Is that how you say it? Or Siloam Springs? Siloam Springs. I'm not from Arkansas, but somebody will correct me. San Francisco, Crocker First National Bank. So fives. I tell everybody, fives are absolute workhorse notes. You have to think about the time period, and the $5 bill had the buying power of like a 20 or a 50 today. So they circulated hard. London, the Anglo and London Paris to San Francisco, another five. Fives are good. Five's my favorite denomination for national banknotes. Another San Francisco, VF20. Now, these are going to be a little bit more budget friendly. There is some better states and type. San Francisco. Kind of a neater serial number. Almost a repeater. Two digits off. It's kind of neat. But national banknotes, one of the best types that you could collect that was without a doubt in commerce hand to hand. Like, you had to go to the bank, you had to get approved, they would have to issue you a note. You know, this note was handed more times than probably any other paper money. New Haven, Connecticut, VF20. Norwalk, Connecticut, VF25, another 5. Boise, Idaho. Kind of a little semi-mini repeater there. Serial 1414. The National Builders Bank of Chicago. Another great title. The Livestock National Type 2. So this was a bank that would have been located at the stockyards in Chicago. Galesburg, Illinois. Lacon or Lacone. Somebody knows. It's not me. I'm not from there. My apologies. 760, so 76. Rockford, Illinois. I only know that one because it's close to home. Another Rockford, Illinois. There's so many ways to collect nationals. You can collect them by serial number. You can collect them by charter. You can collect them by town. You can collect them by state. You can collect them by denomination. You can, I mean, it goes on and on and on. Here, you could collect them by first name. Gary, Indiana. I've been to Gary. Indianapolis, Indiana. Another Indianapolis. A lot of towns would have multiple banks, so you would see, you know, like this one here. These are both from the same bank, both from the merchants. First National Bank, Mishawaka, Indiana. Probably butchering that one too. Here's a really, really popular note that never comes up for sale very often. Swayze, Indiana. When I originally looked at this, they told me this note was uncirculated, and within 2.5 seconds, I said, nah, it's just a really nice XF. Graded 40Q. Terre Haute, Indiana. VF25. Thorntown, Indiana. VF25. Dubuque, Iowa. Nice, honest 5. This will sell instantly. This is one of the towns in Iowa that is actually hoarded by a handful of people. Humboldt, Iowa, Type 2. Sioux City, another livestock and national bank. So this is a bank that would have been located at the stockyards. Frankfort, Kentucky. It's amazing how many of these were saved and how they stood the test of time, whether it be in commerce or collections. But Lexington, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky. Boston, Webster and Atlas National Bank. Such a cool name. This is Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Without a doubt, one of the longest titles out there. Pittsfield Third National Bank and Trust Company. Worcester, Massachusetts. Or for us Midwestern people, Worcester. But I believe they call it Worcester. Battle Creek, Michigan. I don't know if everybody knows this, but in the Midwest, if you live on land that has a creek on it, you call it a crick. But if you're driving over it, it's called a creek. So if you're running out in the backyard, you're going down to the creek. If you're driving over it, you're going to pass over a creek. I tell everybody that. Another Battle Creek, Michigan. Bay City, Michigan 5. Benton Harbor, Michigan. Thought I was going to say Maine, didn't you? Kind of a cool serial. 3636. Just a nice choice VF35 also. Super, super note. Detroit, Michigan, VF25. It's just a cool little, I mean, this was all from one out of the weeds deal. So none of these are in the census. Once they go up for sale, they'll all end up in the National Banknote Census. So Lansing, Michigan, Type 2. Eaton Rapids, Michigan, VF25. Oh, good old town of Duluth, Minnesota. I actually have family from up around this way. St. Paul, Minnesota. Type 2, little bit. Usually Midwest banks and Type 2s, you just don't see an abundance of them. Madison, Nebraska. That's north central Nebraska, if you're following along. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Another great note. The Chase National Bank of New York. Another New York note. This one's the National City Bank. Rochester, New York. Type 2. So the biggest difference between Type 2s and Type 1s is Type 1s have a suffix at the end of the serial, and Type 2s do not. Type 1s only have the charter printed once, and Type 2s actually have the charter number printed in the overprint. So that's the big difference between a type 1 and a type 2. Something I get asked quite often. Cincinnati, Ohio, type 1. East Liverpool, Ohio. Just like I said, these were all out of the same deal. All came from the same place, same box. Kansas, Ohio, which is another fun way to collect. You can collect state names and town names on other states' notes. Jackson Center, Ohio. North Baltimore, Ohio. Choice Find 15. Wilmington, Ohio. Oklahoma City, type 2 from Oklahoma. I believe this is pronounced Corvallis, Oregon. So a little bit better note. Erie, Pennsylvania. Couple of Erie, Pennsylvanias. Huntington, Pennsylvania, VF35. Charter 31. Very neat. If only the serial number was 31, that would be definitely something special. Swineford, Pennsylvania, or Swinford. I'm pretty sure it's Swineford. York, Pennsylvania. Ooh, now a state you rarely see. Vienna, South Dakota, small size. Very, very tough state for any types of nationals. Corsicana, Corsicana, Texas. I think there's a Corsica, Texas also. This is a type 2. Dallas, Texas. This is a Republic National Bank. Roanoke, Virginia. Seattle, Washington. I believe this bank has a couple of different titles on it that you can watch for. One of the most common notes in all of national bank notes, the Riggs National Bank of Washington, D.C. Here's a fun one. The National Bank of Washington in the District of Columbia. It does have a little bit of partially removed writing. That's just the way they come. These are, like I said, these went straight to grading, straight out of the box. Wheeling, West Virginia. Cameron, West Virginia. Like I said, there's so many different ways to collect, whether it be state, name, title, denomination. Antigua, Wisconsin. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Janesville, Wisconsin. Interesting. I like the serial number. It caught me right away. I was drawn to it. Manitowoc, Wisconsin. They also have Civil War tokens from Manitowoc. Of course, Charter 64, Milwaukee. Just a nice 5. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Watertown, Wisconsin. 5, another 5. Here's a Watertown, Wisconsin 10. Waukesha, Wisconsin. Just like I said, a lot of these are just right out of the box, evenly circulated. Just send them to grading and put them in plastic. Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. And then a Hastings, Nebraska in Choice AU58. So, and I believe the Hastings, Nebraska is NFS, which means not for sale. Okay, I have 3 more boxes actually, and they're not boring. It's going to be modern notes, but the thing with these notes being as they're modern, there's some errors mixed in, which I know, and you know, and the rest of the world knows. They love looking at error notes. Most of them are uncirculated. I think there might be a couple circulated pieces. We'll go box by box and just kind of I actually seen the posted grades on these notes the other day. And not saying it's been a long time, but I don't really remember the notes at all. So I'll kind of give you a time frame. I sent them to grading on December 9th. So right before Christmas. So right off the bat, we have matching serial number 50s, star note, and non-star. Then we have, looks like just a nice run of 50s. So they call these big head non-colorized. So example, colorized, non-colorized. So big head, non-colorized, just colorized. Big heads are, oh, wow. Insufficient inking of overprint. Was this part of the same deal? Did I miss it? 1996, New York. What's the... No, the serial range is way different. Okay. So this is an insufficient inking of, would be the third printing. And that would be the seal, the serial numbers. So to give you an idea, that's the comparison. See the serial number. So that's one of the error notes. Here's one that's killer. Probably one of the biggest misalignment errors I've ever seen on a 50. Part of the next note. No, this is not cut from a sheet. This is a legit error. One of the easiest ways to tell. See how the back is centered? Normally on a counterfeit or a cut from a sheet note, the back would be off just as much as the face. So you would have, the execution would be completely different. The other thing is the position of the seal and the serial numbers is shifted. So the sheet was fed in and this was all off and obscured. So that's another way to tell that an authentic error. Full printing back to face. So this is an offset printing error, and what you can see on the face of this note is the back of the other note. So it's actually just kind of like a ink transfer. Huge portrait gutter. He's kind of got two noses. Graded 50Q. And the other thing is, this was a gutter on the first printing and a gutter on the second printing and the third printing, but there's no way to, it's not obscuring the third printing. 196600 VF35. Another big head. This would be a big head non-colorized 166. This is a printed fold-over error. The reason why they call it a printed fold-over error is because there is part of the serial number. So this would have been folded over when they did the third printing. Super great note, ink smear error on A100. This one did grade 40 details. It does have, looks like Bob decided to put his name here on the note. So thank you, Bob, for, defacing government property or American property. But if you're watching, Bob, you ruined this note for the rest of eternity. Does that hurt the value? Not a ton. It probably knocks like $50 off it, but Bob should have known better. Serial number 69 star, kind of a unique oddity. I will say something about this note while we have it out. This note is actually sold in auction raw as uncirculated. I could tell from the photos there was no way in hell that note was uncirculated. The note arrived to me, and within minutes I knew that note was not uncirculated. I believe it has a partial corner fold, paperclip mark, and a bend in the middle. So definitely was not uncirculated. So when you're buying raw notes and the seller says uncirculated, you have to kind of determine for yourself. Ink smear error on a $1. Right there's the smear error. Very cool. Here's another partial insufficient inking of the black overprint. So the serial numbers and this black seal are actually separate printings. The green, I believe, is printing 3A and black is printing 3B. I may have those mixed up, but it's still a third printing. Minor overprint misalignment. If you can see, the seal is far down and to the right, and then the star is starting to enter the design. The other thing is the district numbers are way, way down. In comparison, I'll show you side by side. So see where the 7s are and the 4s? Pretty easy to pick up. Next one is over inking. This is a note I have not had very much. Maybe the second one I've ever seen, actually. But this is an over inking of the green overprint, and the seal is kind of the giveaway, but the serial numbers are actually a little bit thicker. I can show you. See how they're much bolder and distinguished? But that is the actual error. Next up, I think we have some random stuff in here, just kind of threw in to fill the order. Star note. 63A star note. Star note. Insufficient inking of black overprint. Here you're completely missing the district seal. You can, however, see the G for Chicago right there in the center. What this is called is blind embossing, meaning the note is embossed and you can see where it's supposed to be because of the printing plate, but there was no ink on it. 57B star note in 67. Well, that's pretty neat. Another 57B in 67. That's super cool. Another one in 7. Wowzers. And another one in 7. Holy smokes. A gutter fold error, and I will explain something here. This note is actually torn at the bottom, and that is as issued because this gutter fold error created that tear during the printing process. But that is on a $1 silver cert. 85 San Francisco star. A little better district for star notes, but not uncommon. We'll just flip through those. That's all. There's like a little serial run of them. Sometimes it's just filler to get to my quota for getting the amount I need to have a submission. You have to have, so on a bulk submission, you have to have at least 50 notes. That's number one. And then number two is they all have to be, they have to fit the criteria. So it needs to be post 1963. Technically, you're not supposed to put errors in bulk, but I figured, oops, I don't know any better. So here's the way I do with errors. If the error is worth more than $300, I send it in under the error tier. If it is something simple like a gutter fold, a printed fold, a little ink smear, things of that nature that are less than $300, I do put them in my bulk. Serial number 634, serial number 635, serial number 638, serial number 639, serial number 641. Here's 642, 643, a little run of these, 648, 658, 659, 667, 668. Well, that was kind of neat. All on silver certificates, a little 3-digit action there. 1957, here you have 66, 66, 66. A lot of these notes are probably going to end up going to Whatnot. Serial number 182 on a 57B. That's pretty neat. Serial number 273. Serial number 193. Then we have 66Q on a star note. Star A block. Another 66Q. And another error note. We have a full offset error back to face. So on the face of the note, you can see the back plate, and it's actually reversed because there's one. Like I said, it was the top of this note sitting down. 57A and 66, 57A and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Really not trying to lose you guys in this video. Trying to show you enough cool stuff. Right now, large size type is at grading. Large size has been tough for me. I haven't had a lot of it. A lot of the collections that I've been buying have mostly been small size. Whether it be error notes, Y notes, just a good mix of stuff. I really haven't. I've been getting a few large size notes here or there, and they have been going to grading. But like I said, large size lately has not been in abundance as collections come out. A lot of it has been small size. So it's just part of the job. You take it in strides, and it comes and goes. So more 57As and 67. I believe they're like $50, $60 retail kind of notes. They might be more now. I might be living in the dark a little bit on some of their value. But they're all IA blocks, and I believe they're all sequential. It was a little run of notes that I had purchased, and I thought, man, these are super nice. Here's kind of a unique note. Starts with 999 and is not from a BEP issued sheet, so that's pretty neat. They actually look those sorts of things up when they grade. Here's serial 1064. That's kind of neat. 1065. Serial 1967-61. 67Q. And then the next note's 64 flat. Oh, got a little, what is that down there? You know what it almost looks like? It looks like a lollipop, like somebody stuck a lollipop to it. Radar serial number, that's pretty neat, 908-809. Radar serial in 67. So radar means you could read it forward and backwards. It's, the same. A lot of radars, you could pick them out because I call them double digits, so 990011. Then picking them out of the wild, I always look from the inside out. So I always look at the middle of the serial and then look left and right for radars. But a few little radars here. These all came out of one collection. St. Louis is kind of prolific for turning up a lot of radars and repeater notes. More radar serials. All right, and that sums it up. I hope this video was so much better than that pile I had the other day of silver certificates. With that, man, the weather's getting nice. Everybody's starting to do outdoor stuff. Don't forget about the the shows coming up, you're going to have Central States coming to Chicago. You're going to have St. Louis coin shows coming up in July. Denver coin show coming up in May. Then you're going to see the ANA in Oklahoma City. And, you know, it just goes and goes and goes. So don't forget to get out and still, you know, check out your coin shows. Check out your local coin club, your local coin shop. I'll be around all summer. Shoot me a message if you need. Email, call me. YouTube has been doing great for creating a handful of new, solid, reputable collectors. People who call me up, and I sold a note the other day for $9,000 that was shown on YouTube. Not recently, but it's been on here. And, you know, it's been good. And check out Dan over at Polar Currency, all his videos for amazing knowledge. And I hope everybody's doing well, and I will catch you on the next one. God bless.